The next feature that I want to touch base on is chaos, which is dash dash chaos or dash dash c. And this parameter essentially controls the level of variation in initial image grids produced by the Midjourney algorithm. So what that means is if you assign a high chaos value, the more unusual and unexpected results will be displayed. But if you assign a lower chaos value, then it won't deviate from the initial prompt and the image grades are only going to be slightly varied each time a job is run, resulting in a reliable and repeatable outcome. So if you're looking for ways that you can create the same image or the same framework or the basics of an image over and over again, you're going to use a low chaos value. But if you want your image grids to be completely different and you want them to show you want the algorithm to show its creativity and go completely out of the way, then you use a higher chaos value, and then when you regenerate the images using the same prompt, the image grids that will be generated will be completely different from each other. So the chaos parameter can accept values between 0 to 100. By default, it's set to 0. To better explain you the idea of chaos, I ran a few prompts with a cat and a jug. So that was my initial text prompt and that's all I ran. So first I ran it with a low chaos value, and here you see in all three image grids that I created with that parameter, it sticks to the main context of the image, although it changes the composition and the cat a lot, but you in each one of them you see a cat and a jug, a cat and a jug, a different type of jug and a different type of cat, but mostly cat and a jug. This is the only one where it slightly deviates and combines the two, but overall the framework and the objects in the image remain the same. Now I started a medium chaos. So I assigned a 50 value of chaos. And now you see a lot of variations between these images. So here it put a milk jug and the cat in a glass. Here the cat is really smaller than the jug. Here there's a cat plus a cat in the jug as well. Over here it looks like the cat is viewing its mirror image inside the jug with waves there as well. Now here it becomes a statue of the cat and sort of a catish sort of a thing in the jug as well. Here it's more basic where it's just the jug and the cat, but the variation in the jug has changed a lot. Now let's go to a higher chaos value. Now here this is where it gets interesting. So you see how, for example, this image, it's completely different. The jug and the cat are the same object. It's looked like the cat's face is inside the jug. Here it created two images side by side. One is just an ordinary cat. Here there's the cat's face inside the jug. This one looks like the cat is part of the jug. So you see, by assigning different chaos values, you can essentially decide how much variation you're looking for between your images or the image grids that you're producing. And that is essentially what chaos can help you achieve. The last parameter in this section that I would want to cover is seed. And basically what the seed is when Midjourney creates an image, it's assigned a seed value to that process. So as Midjourney is capable of generating stunning images by utilizing a unique method of producing visual noise or randomness. This process begins by using a seed number to generate a field of noise or randomness, which is then used to initiate the image creation process. These seed numbers are generated randomly for each image, and they can also be explicitly specified using the seed parameter. So for instance, what this is saying is that when the algorithm wants to create an image, first it assigns it a random value in a number, and that's the noise factor or the randomness factor that the algorithm will use to create the image. And then basically the seed parameter allows us to pick out that random value of the seed that was assigned to that specific image and then use it to produce further images. So let's try this out for version 5 and version 4 and see how that works. So let's say I say create an image with water painting, watercolor painting of a tiger, dash dash seed value of 123, and then I'm going to run the exact same command again in v5 and let's see what the difference is between the two, if any. So now our images are ready, and as you see, because I assigned the same seed value on both the images, they are exactly the same images. So because the random noise factor that was used in creating these images, essentially the seed number, was the same, version 5 produced the exact same image over and over again. So now let's try the same thing but with a different version to see how the algorithm reacts in that case. So I would go with watercolor painting of a tiger, but this time I'll do it with dash dash v4. So by dash dash v4 I am basically telling the algorithm that okay, use version 4 of Midjourney to generate this image, and then I'll do it again. Okay, actually I forgot to type imagine before it. Dash dash v4, and then let's do the exact same prompt again to see if there's a difference now. And then just to experiment with, let's do it with version 3 as well. And this way we will also get to compare the different versions of Midjourney. So the outputs are ready, and let's see how the images are different or similar. So with v4 the images are very similar. It's actually the identically say the same image. With v5 the images change. So now you see that although I assigned the same seed parameter, the output images are slightly different now. Here you see the body of the tiger without the first face in U1, but in here in U1 it's just the face of the tiger. Similarly in U2 the image has completely changed. So in this way, as you see, different versions of Midjourney I work with the seed parameter differently, whereas in version 123 the seed parameter will cause the image to change and it won't be identically the same, but the overall composition and the medium and the aesthetics of the base image will remain the same. But in version 4 and 5 the entire image will completely be identical if you use the same seed number. The last feature we can cover in the parameters section is the tile feature. And basically the tile parameter can produce images that are suitable for creating seamless patterns for fabrics, wallpapers, and textures. The resulting image is a tile that can be used repeatedly without noticeable seams or borders in a visually cohesive and continuous pattern. Let's try this out. So let's do wallpaper art of pink flowers and petals dash dash tile, and let's see what the algo creates for us. Now our output is ready, and as you can see, Midjourney has created 4 variations of the image of a wallpaper art of pink flower and petals in tile feature. So essentially what it means is that these can be used as wallpaper or screen desktops displays, in terms that it will show a complete pattern if we put them side by side, the same image side by side. So to show that in an actual perspective, I upscaled the first one, which was U1, and then I'm using this pychung.com checker tool, which essentially creates a tile feature based on the defined width of the tile. And now you see if I increase it, this is one image. And now as I'm making it a tile feature, you see there are no breaks or anything that can tell me that this is not one pattern. So basically what the algorithm did in this case, what created a seamless pattern that can be put up in a tile feature. And this could be useful, and this is something we'll work on one of our projects where we'll create a wallpaper art that we can sell on Etsy. With that being said, this brings us to the end of the parameter section. In the next section, we will start covering how to use image URLs and text and image weights to further enhance and customize the images and use a base image by giving it a URL.